no makeup.
You were saying, Meryl? Meryl Furr, good to see you. Hi, I'm Kathleen Gage, and I am with Vegan Visibility Productions. And today we are talking about the Radiant Roots Optimal Health Bundle. I had to write it down because, by this time in the day, my mind has so much information going on. But one thing that's top of the mind is what an incredible, incredible campaign we're involved in the middle of. And I'm here with my good friend, my colleague, and the founder of a number of organizations, Meryl Fury. And Meryl, why don't you share a little bit about yourself? And for those who don't know you, which is impossible, everybody knows who Meryl is. But if you could share a little bit about yourself, and then let's talk about the Radiant Roots Bundle and living a plant-based lifestyle.
Wow, sure. So thank you. Kathleen and I are engaged in this effort. We're going hip to hip here, shoulder to shoulder, to bring information and opportunity to plant-based entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and change makers. And it's about the Sage Circle Alliance. So who I am, my name is Meryl Fury. I'm a registered nurse. I am president and CEO of Plant-Based Nutrition Movement, which is a 501c3 in Illinois, but because we're on the internet, we're all over the place. As far as the Sage Circle Alliance goes, I'm co-founder of Sage Circle Alliance, and the goal of that organization, it is to empower and uplift whole food plant-based entrepreneurs, because if we don't have people who are invested in keeping people healthy, elevating animal compassion, and supporting the health of our planet, we're going to be in very, very deep trouble, and we already are spiraling toward that. So the goal is to stop the spiral,
right,
and keep us moving in a more positive direction for health, compassion, and planet. My big, I'll say my passion project, and what wakes me up every morning and puts me to bed at night is our children's health. Children's health is suffering. We've lost track of what's important, how we keep children healthy. We, in particular, undermine them from the nutrition point of view. We give them very poor quality food, and it's playing out with a lot of children getting very sick early in life. I was just talking with someone earlier today where we're looking at, when you look at graphs of children's health, of, let's say you've got like a graph like this, maybe like this, no, like this. And you see the, on the one hand, it's the number of children, and then you see the level of disease, prevalence of disease. The graph, in most cases, is going at something like a 30-degree to a 45-degree angle up, because children are getting diagnosed more often with obesity and overweight, type 2 diabetes, childhood cancers, heart disease, diabetes, just ADHD, autism, almost any disease that you look at, our children are being diagnosed more and more frequently. And then they're put on medications earlier. They're getting sicker younger. Our children's life expectancy is decreasing. Between 2015 and 2021, the life expectancy, our children's life expectancy, was decreased 4 times by the CDC. So that is what I focus on. That's the long version of.
It's a great focus. And one thing that you didn't mention that children are getting is fatty liver disease. And usually we relate that to alcoholism. There's non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or non-alcoholic. And children are getting that. I think about, what did I read? Like 30 or 40% have it now if they're obese, and as much as 50% if they're obese. And I just picked up a book called Good Energy. It's by Dr. Casey Means. She was trained at Stanford. Phenomenal. I got to tell you, I have probably read every book out there. I read Ultra Processed People. I've read, all the usual suspects in the literature to read. And I got this book, and it actually sat on my side table for probably about 3 weeks. And I thought, okay, I'm going to get around to it. I was beyond shocked when I started reading the information, because she actually left her practice as a surgeon. She was an ear, nose, and throat surgeon. And she said one day she had kind of an awakening of like, why are we just cutting into these people and giving them drugs when we're not getting to the root of the problem? And she started connecting the dots. And it's really phenomenal, the research that she's done. She and her brother wrote the book together. And it's scary because it's exactly what you said, Meryl, about the children. And it's not the children's fault. I think we have to start with that. It's oftentimes not the parents' fault. It is a societal, very systemic situation that we're dealing with. And it has to do with, in many cases, large corporations that are putting profits over people.
That's it.
And that's what drives us. I mean, what I love about working with you on different projects, whether it be SCA, Sage Circle Alliance, whether it be the Radiant Roots Bundle, which we're talking about that today, and we'll talk about what's in that bundle. But we are really on a mission to raise awareness, not to shame people, not to guilt trip people, but to pull back the curtain and say, okay, have you considered? I used to say, you need to look at this. And it's like, no, you don't need to do anything, but have you considered? And I think that my approach now is to give people information and hope that they will take the time to educate themselves, because it's frightening when you think about how many people are on medications. And I think it was in her book that on average, people are on between 10 and 17 prescription drugs on average.
Yeah, adults for sure. Yeah.
Crazy. I was at an insurance meeting not too long ago, and it was for the new insurance company I'm with because of Medicare. They switched providers, yada, yada, yada. So I went to the meeting to educate myself and see what, all the benefits were. And the big conversation was about the prescription drug benefit. And the people around me, they were all kind of wearing their number of medications like a badge of honor. The woman next to me on my left, 22 prescription drugs. The woman on my right, 5. And people were like chiming in, and they said, well, how many are you taking? And I said, none. And I felt like the outcast.
The oddball, right?
It's like, why aren't you taking any? It's because I'm a plant-based eater. But that's not an end all be all. I think that we have.
There's no guarantees.
Yeah. So, and I look at the whole thing around children, because it saddens me when I see that children are not being given a fair chance at just a normal childhood. What did you do when you were a kid? When, did your mom throw you outside and say, hey, come back when the night lights go on, then you come home for dinner?
That's so funny. My mother was a gym teacher.
Okay.
So she was all about us being out of the house. We had bikes, we'd go riding, we had the best street game equipment. We had real kickballs, we had real medicine balls, we had all that stuff, cage balls and double Dutch ropes, So yes, we were not there. Television didn't capture a child's attention back then the way it does.
Well, it was black and white.
It was black.
And you had to get up to turn the channel.
There wasn't kids programming on all the time.
No.
Right?
Captain Kangaroo.
Yeah. So that was on in the morning. And then maybe there were a few shows, but it wasn't like it is now.
No,
it
wasn't
not at all. The level of direct attraction for children. Right? So we got kicked out of the house, and we wanted to be out of the house. Nobody wanted to be sitting in the house like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And now to try to get people to go outside is a challenge, whether it be children or adults. And me, I love getting outside. I love going to the park and taking hikes with my dogs and going near the river and taking a run. And and I can't say that my adult life was always like that. I was very active as a child, but then as I started eating the standard American diet, I gained a bunch of weight. I became very sluggish, very lethargic, and depression kicked in. And that's another thing that we don't talk about. But, I want to remind people that this is about the Radiant Roots Bundle. And I want to have people go to veganvisibilityproductions.com/RROH for Radiant Roots Optimal Health bundle. So go there and you'll see that we've got a boatload of great gifts for you when you invest only $27 to get ebooks, videos, audio files. We've got recipe books. Do you want to share some of what's in that? And I'm going to see if I can actually get my screen to
pull it up. Yeah, so if I'll wait just briefly to see if you pull it up. Otherwise, I'll try and go from memory.
Okay, I'm trying right now. Let's see. And it's not, let's see, it's not letting me for some reason. There we go. Let's see. That's us, entire screen. No, that's not it. Let's see if it's not letting me share for some reason.
Okay, well, I'll go from memory. One of the items in there is from Danielle Medina. She is a Food for Life instructor as well as a yoga instructor. So what she has, I believe, is a video and a little ebook about yoga and recipes, I believe is what that is. Excellent. Yeah, there we go. Now that's in the middle. It's called Fit and Play Mama's Radiant Roots Bundle Package. Wonderful stuff. As a Food for Life instructor, she is an expert in, don't go anywhere yet.
Okay.
An expert in whole food, plant-based, low fat, low sugar, low salt cooking and making it delicious. She also works with her daughter to do the cooking demos that she does. She's in the New York area, I believe. Amazing stuff she has available, and she's active in the field. One of the things I want to say about this bundle is that all of the people in here are professionals. They are highly trained, well-educated, vetted, credentialed people. We do not have, there's nobody in here who's just like talking out the top of their head, making stuff up. This is beautiful.
See, I would have said the opposite end of the body, but top of the head. Okay.
We'll go with it. Let's look at the first one there, the Comprehensive Guide to Nurturing Yourself and Your Baby with Whole Foods. Because we were just talking about kids, right? It is so important that we do what we can to nurture our children and nourish them appropriately. It is not, all right, let me back up just a little bit. What happens in the American culture, it is a norm, it is expected, in fact, encouraged to feed our children highly processed foods. It is normal. And in fact, if you are not feeding your children chicken nuggets and pepperoni pizza, people will look at you like there's something wrong, right? But really, in order to give your child and even yourself during your pregnancy and the developing baby during the pregnancy the best nutrition, get them off on the right foot, stack the deck in their favor, build their immune system, build their neurotransmitter bank so that they can have appropriate brain development. What we're talking about is whole plant foods. So fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, whole grains, beans, lentils, and mushrooms. That's what we're after. So in this book here, The Comprehensive Guide to Nurturing Yourself and Your Baby, that's what they're talking about. They also have, that is Dr. Justice, Michelle Justice Taylor. Beautiful work. Highly encourage you to look at that one. The last one on this line here is by Dr. Judy Brangman, and she is talking about, let's see if I can see it, the key
it's total wellness, the key to total wellness through a plant-based lifestyle. Yeah, phenomenal resource. You know, I just want to interject that when I got the book, Ultra Processed People, I think I paid about $25, $28 for that one book. When I got the book, Good Energy by Dr. Casey Means, I think I paid $25, $26. This whole package with all these resources that we're going to be showing you is $27 for the entire package. And it's immediately downloadable. You get videos in it, you get ebooks. And one of the reasons we priced it at the price that we did is we wanted to make it affordable for just about anybody. Now, let's say that you are on a very limited budget. Talk to a friend and see if they would buy it for you. You know, say, hey, for my birthday, would you get me this thing? And what a great way to educate others about this package, but also for you to be able to get it. You know, it's just about getting creative.
Right. Let's scroll down a little bit. Let's see what else.
Okay, let me see if I can do this. And tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. In
All
the
right.
name of love.
Right, you got it. So the next one there, Embracing a Healthy Plant-Based Lifestyle by Dr. Shonda Mayo Ford. Now, I want you to notice these are primarily, with some exceptions, like I'm in there and I'm not an MD, but we have a lot of medical doctors in this particular bundle. Most of them are also board certified in lifestyle medicine. So you are getting some excellent, highly credible, non-disputable information from people who know what they're talking about. They have invested in this. So, little sidebar. The average American doctor goes through, I don't know, feels like 12 years or more of medical education, right? And they go through their residency and they go through all of this. They go into deep debt to learn the American medical system, which does not really focus on prevention. It does not focus on disease reversal. It focuses on keeping people, managing illness, let's say it that way. Just keeping you illness managed. So generally speaking, if you have a chronic illness, you're going to be on whatever those medications are for the rest of your life. That's pretty much what you're told, right? This set of doctors who are steeped in lifestyle medicine and dedicated to prevention and reversal of disease have gone to extra training and extra depth in their studies to learn how to do this type of medicine. And it's all about managing lifestyle. So there are 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine, and I believe all of them are addressed in some one or more of these resources. So one of the pillars is nutrition, right? We are talking whole food, plant-based nutrition, very healthy. One of them is avoiding risky substances. So avoiding alcohol and smoking and toxic substances, right? Another one is managing stress. So we have Danielle Medina, for example, talking about yoga and other who does gardening, which is a combination of stress management and good food, right? And physical activity. We have, what's another one?
There's sleep.
Sleep, yes. So if you scroll down a little bit more.
Okay, let me see if I can manage these little buttons here. Okay.
Right, stop right there.
Right here.
The one on the left called My Health Journey Video is Dr. Patrice High, and she is talking about sleep. Exactly, and how that impacted her weight loss journey and how it helps, how it keeps her body regulated and she's able to function because she's got enough hours of sleep in a day.
And let me add something right in there about you mentioned her weight loss journey. What I found so interesting is that with a good number of these medical professionals and the contributors, they all got involved in lifestyle medicine as a result of their own health.
Very much.
And which I find so interesting because when they went through medical school, they were going the normal path of like, okay, I'll learn what they teach me. And then I'm going to learn how to prescribe drugs and do the surgery or whatever they do. And then they come to find out that their own health was at risk. And through simple lifestyle changes that had to do with nutrition and avoiding substances, avoiding stress, getting good rest, getting exercise, all of that, hydrating, all of that, their health turned around. So their life's work now is so steeped in lifestyle medicine and plant-based eating.
Yes, because they have personal experience with the power of lifestyle. There's that cartoon, you've probably seen it, where there's 2 windows, like, in a wall, there's 2 windows and there's people behind the window or at a desk. And there's a long line of people lined up for pills and procedures. And there's nobody lined up going to the desk that says lifestyle change. This is a sad commentary on our country and how we manage health.
It is. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people, even when they're given the answer, they're like, oh, that's too hard. And it's like, well, what's harder? And I have a friend that I said that to him. I said, what's harder, getting your heart opened up, your chest opened up so they can fix your heart, losing your feet, going blind, because he literally was on that path. And I'm so proud of him. He lives in Arizona, and he calls me quite frequently to say, just saw the doctor and I've lost another 5 pounds. And thank you so much for your help. Because it got to the point where I said, I can't have these conversations anymore. I said, you're asking for the help. You're not doing anything. Finally, he jumped on it. He said, I'm going to make the change. And he goes, I can't believe how great I feel now.
Mm.
And so, the information is here. If you seriously want to turn your health around, is it easy? Not necessarily. Is it simple? Absolutely. It's a very simple formula for success. And yet making that change, and a lot of these professionals who have contributed to the bundle, they will talk about how you have to manage your environment, and the environment also is a part of your relationships. Because if you're in a home where not everybody is on board with giving up meat, giving up dairy, and embracing a beautiful, beautiful diet of vegetables and fruits and legumes and lentils, and we do have a book on lentils, which I'm so excited to jump into that one. But if people are not 100% on board, they might ridicule you. They might try to sabotage you. This is real life. And that's why these resources are so valuable to help you get on track.
Yes, totally. And even let's say you're going to a doctor, and the doctor, like we just said, they don't get this training in their typical medical school education. This isn't part of it. It is not. Not for nurses either. I'm a registered nurse. I can tell you, I didn't learn this stuff in nursing school. This came way after the fact.
And
so you may have doctor's appointments, and the doctor may tell you, you need to eat beef, you need to eat skinless, boneless chicken breast, or you need to eat skimmed dairy products or whatever. This is it's a different version of undermining your health.
Right.
Coming from somebody, a professional, a healthcare professional that you're trusting with your health, that you're paying to see, and they're giving you information that may in fact not be very supportive of you staying healthy in the long run.
Well, and what's so exciting about just this way of living and this way of eating is I know that as I get older, I'm getting healthier and healthier, and I'm not of the health of women my age. I'm not typical. And the reason being is because of the choices I made. I gave up alcohol 40 years ago, and not 40. And I don't smoke. I used to. I was a 3-pack a day smoker. It was like I was a fifth a day of drinker. I was a 3-pack a day smoker. I mean, if I was going to do it, I went to the extreme. So it's like, for me, it's like the road gets narrower and narrower, but goes very deep. And it's a quality of life that, oh my gosh, you're not giving anything up. You're gaining so much. So why don't you talk about what you have in the package, Meryl?
Well, here's what I contributed. So I lead plant-based nutrition movement, like I said earlier, and these are resources that are coming from that nonprofit. So we have our Yummy Kid Approved recipes and Easy Peasy Pantry Guide. These are, like I said, we focus on children as much as possible, so that please, that they never have to deal with cancers, diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease, please. So if we start them early in learning habits that will support them for a lifetime, these are life skills, learning how to do these things from young, then we can hopefully save them a lot of suffering and a lot of damage.
Absolutely.
So that first one is recipes. That's a curated list, or from a bunch of different contributors, kid-approved recipes that a kid can help you make also. The one in the middle is 12 healthy food tips and 10 yummy snack suggestions. So let's say you're a grandparent or you're an aunt, and maybe, or you could be a parent too, but maybe you're not around your kids a lot. You're not around the grandkids every day, let's say. So let's say they're coming over your house for the holidays, or they're coming over your house because mom and dad need a night out or something like that. This is something that you can pull out and use it as a tip sheet, right? So it's what to do. What kind of snacks can you have? What kind of games can you play? It includes things like making hummus, or making smoothies. Have the children go with you to the grocery store and pick out what they want in their smoothie. Make it fun, make it colorful, and they're way more likely to drink it, eat it, enjoy it if they have made it themselves. The last one there is lifestyle strategies for strengthening your family's health. So many different things that you can do, games you can play, and different approaches you can take to get your whole family out and about. Get them to go plant a tree somewhere. You know, if you don't have space in your own yard or something like that, plant some herbs in a little styrofoam cup and put it on your windowsill. There's so many things you can do that would engage a child and have them become curious about learning more about eating
Right.
healthy food.
I love that because actually it was just the other day I was thinking about when I was growing up, certain foods that I now eat on a regular basis and I love them. But growing up, I didn't eat them and I didn't like them, not because I really didn't like them, but because my mom said, "Oh, you don't like that." It was
Yes.
because she didn't like it. And my mom died of fatty liver disease. My mom had a very long, drawn out, painful death. And I remember looking at just what she had to go through. I mean, they took her away a bit at a time. That was the
Yeah.
reality. And she was always in surgery. And just with that being said, I thought about what I was taught as a child, and it wasn't because she didn't love me. It was like she did love me very, very much, but she didn't know any better. And so oftentimes what we're taught and what we teach, it's because that's all we know. And
That's right.
today, what I love about the internet and what I love about social media is we have so much available. But one of the things, and there's some information that you'll find in some of these resources about, you don't want to let your kids and you don't want yourself to be on social media all the time. That can backfire. That's why the lifestyle medicine is so important, with getting exercise, getting outside, getting that vitamin D, and really, just thriving in life. Because if I have a choice between eating things that might taste good in the moment and having a poor quality of life, or not having those things, but having really tasty plant-based meals, and I get a quality of life, like at 70 years old, I get to go ride 5 miles near the river or run or whatever.
Right.
I'll tell you what, I'll take the healthy lifestyle any day of the week. So with that, let's take a look at what else is in this package.
Okay,
but wait, there's more. But wait.
Yes, right. All that and a bag of cherry tomatoes.
Lentils.
All right. So here we have, speaking of cherry tomatoes, Tips for Successful Gardening, the ebook by Dr. Latea de Jesus. She is a family nurse practitioner with her PhD as well, which is saying something. And she's talking about gardening, which I said earlier, there's so much to gardening. Gardening gets us connected back to the earth, stress management, physical activity, as well as connected to eating those fruits and vegetables that you grow. Such an amazing, amazing resource she has there. Also, she's contributed nutrition label reading. Now, anybody who has ever tried to understand the world that is called nutrition label, you already know it's confusing at best. It is a mess, really very difficult to understand. So she's breaking that down in a video for you, which I'm sure is amazing. The next one over there is the Daniel Fast Food List with Recipes. Now that's by Gigi and Cersei. They come from a religious approach, but very, very often, I'll put it this way: any religion worth its salt has something to say about food.
Yes.
And very many of them encourage as clean and eating as possible. So this is what we are looking at here. Daniel Fast is, for a lot of people, they understand it's the food menu that Daniel encouraged his young men that were with him. And now I'm not a biblical scholar, so I can't tell you a whole lot about it, but I understand that he was captured by the pharaohs or by Pharaoh or something, and was offered all kinds of rich food to eat, and he declined it because he was eating plants only, and that's how he kept himself healthy while he was being held by the Pharaoh.
You know, what's interesting, not only just about Daniel, but this is based on biblical principles with what Gigi and Circe have put together. And in many religions, it is about honoring the temple, the body, not being gluttonous and all that. And so many people go against that without even realizing it. So this really helps you if you are somebody that subscribes to the Bible and the eating of the Bible. This, not eating of the Bible, but eating the way the Bible prescribes. And this book will definitely help you with that. But if you think about it, there were many, 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 many very intelligent people and very well-known figures that were vegans and plant-based eaters. They knew that was the kind way to eat. They knew that was the energetically. You figure what you put into your body, it's got to come out some way. So that's what I love about what they've created here, the Daniel Fast Food List, where you'll get all the foods that you can put on your shopping list. You can print it out and you have your shopping list right there. But it's a fabulous, fabulous resource. And tips for successful gardening, I want to take a step back to that. What I love about that book is Dr. Latea actually, she has sections where she tells you which plants grow best next to which plants. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. It's like there are certain greens that grow better next to certain greens. Tomatoes grow better next to something else, and it's all in the book. So you got to get the book in order to know what that is and have a very, very beautiful garden.
Nice.
Okay. Nice. And so let's see what else we have in this package. Oh my goodness. The next book.
You talk about that, would you?
Okay. Plant-based eating, your 7-day reboot. This actually was my journey early on in 2018 is when I went plant-based, and I subscribed to a very, very clean diet, no added salt, oil, or sugar. And it was really interesting because I started because of inflammation. And I thought, oh, I'm 64. That's just how it is. And I was buying into that belief that a lot of people kind of mouth and they say, oh, this is the way it is. But then I started researching and I realized that maybe if I gave up all meat and dairy, it might actually help with my inflammation. So I thought I'll give it 7 days. Well, in 2 days, the inflammation was gone. In 7 days, I dropped some weight, had more energy. I was recovering faster from my runs that I was taking. And so I thought, well, I'll try it another 7 days and lost some more weight, felt even better. I'll try it for another 7 days. And that was 6 years ago. And so this is about my personal journey. And then it's got a 7-day process for you to get really on track with good, healthy, clean eating so that you will feel better than you have felt in a long time if you're eating the standard American diet. Now, if you're already eating plant-based, some of these, like mine may just be a reminder course, but the other books, like I've got my crock pot meals, love crock pot. That's like my favorite device in the kitchen. And some of these books will be a nice addition to what you already know. The 7-day reboot, if you're brand new to this, I can promise you, I give you 100% guarantee that if you're eating the standard American diet right now, if you're eating a lot of meat and dairy, and you try this for 7 days, and you really give it 100% honest try, I will tell you, you will never, ever, ever, ever want to go back. So with that.
Excellent.
Oh, and then we've got V-Lynn's book, The Top 50 Alkaline. Why don't you talk about that?
Well, we were talking about this the other day, and V-Lynn chimed in from behind the scenes, and she was sending messages. The thing about alkaline foods is that they're very valuable, right? A lot of us have high acidity in the body, which leads to inflammation and body pain and things like that. So to eat an alkaline diet would counteract the acidity that's in the body, right? The acidity that's in the body is generally coming from animal products, oils, processed foods, sugars, refined products, cakes, the garbage foods that we already know, junk food, and fast food, right? So that's where we're getting a lot of the acidity that's in our bodies. Probably alcohol too doesn't help, right? All those things. So These are 5 foods that Lynn did some research and found that these were the most alkalizing foods that she could find. They are all whole food plant-based. It's basically eating the rainbow. It's basically eating like the cruciferous vegetables and things like that, which we already know are very powerful. So that's what this is. I have not yet read it. I am looking forward to it. It looks like a great one.
I'm gonna
To get your body out of that acid range and into the alkaline range can only be good.
And I just want to show people what this page looks like. You can go through and you can read about the Radiant Roots Optimal Health Bundle, and you'll be able to see what this is really geared towards. And actually, this particular bundle is primarily geared towards the underserved communities, and yet it's for everybody. It's for everybody who wants to live a vibrant, healthy life. We've got a lot of medical doctors and health professionals that have contributed. And then we've got some nice statistics here. Well, not so nice, because did you know that obesity rates have more than doubled since the 1980s? And a lot of it has to do with ultra processed foods, fast foods, and the commercials that we are subjected to day in and day out. We talk about our primary goal, and the goal is to help you live a very healthy life. And like what Meryl said about the children, our goal, all of us are very committed to the youth having a good life, and a good life is a healthy life. And then we go into what's inside the bundle. You can read through all this, but we've got ebooks, we've got recipes, we've got video courses, digital products. All of that is available. You just click the green button here and it'll take you to the payment screen. It's only $27. That's for everything. One price. We don't, try to sell you anything else. That's it. And then here's what's inside. We kind of went through this in detail, but I'll just give you one more look here so you can see.
How much is this bundle worth, Kathleen?
It's over $500. I don't know the exact amount, but I do know it's over $500.
So $500 worth of information at least for $27.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Great.
So there it is. All of this right here. Bingo, bingo, bingo. It's just phenomenal. So, okay. So I'm going to stop sharing. I got to figure out how to stop share. Okay, stop share. There we go. Okay. I did pretty good at pressing buttons, huh? I do push buttons really quite well. So thank you.
Really good for a newbie.
Well, I'm not new to StreamYard. I'm just new at pressing that particular button. But, I just really encourage people to think about really, again, the quality of life that you want, and to realize that these are doctors who are very, very busy in their life, and yet they want to get this information out there. They want to do all that they can to fulfill their promise to themselves, the reason they became doctors. People become doctors, they become nurses, not to harm people. They do it to heal people. And unfortunately, the healthcare system works against a lot of that today. And so quite a few of these people are saying, okay, what can we do? Well, let's get involved in things like the Radiant Root Bundle. So I really encourage you to go ahead and grab that.
Yeah, absolutely. It actually, it's very discouraging for a medical provider, a nurse, a physical therapist, of whatever stripe, right? There's all kinds of medical professionals.
Mm-hmm.
We go into it, like you said, because we want to help people. We want to relieve some of the suffering. Sidebar, your story that you told about your mom, very similar to the story of my mom.
Mm.
Very, very similar. She's a wonderful person and physically very ill, which of course plays out in some emotional stuff too, because you can't be physically ill without having emotional impact from that. So me growing up like that, I went into medicine to try nursing because I wanted to make a difference for people, and never deal with that myself either. But to go into the nursing profession and wind up working in public health, which is where I went, and to work in clinics and to do home visits and to work with people who had very limited resources and little access to high quality healthcare, is just about the most discouraging thing that can happen. It sucks the life out of you to be in those environments. So that these providers came together, after hours, were already doing their full 70 hours a week doing their medical practice, and they put these resources together because they have this level of commitment to the population, to the community, to make a difference for people, so that people you don't ever have to have type 2 diabetes. You don't ever have to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
These
Let's talk
things are
about that a little
preventable.
bit, Meryl. Let's talk about that whole thing with you don't ever have to have X, whatever the X factor is. And, type 2 diabetes, it's incredible how many people have been led to believe that they cannot reverse it, that it's just, it's in your DNA,
Oh,
it's the
it's
genetics
a
and all
part
that.
of getting older. I've
Oh.
heard people tell me that. It's just what happens when you get old, you get type 2 diabetes. This is not true.
Oh, and isn't it, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it the number one reason for amputations? And isn't it the number one reason for blindness, or it's right up there in the one or two
It
for
is right up
blindness?
there, and I'll give you another one. It's the number one reason we have so many dialysis centers
Yeah.
opening in strip malls, because we have that level of that's the prevalence in the population.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And so it really is looking at, well, here's another thing about the way that people eat with the fertility rate, that more and more women are having challenges getting pregnant and having healthy babies, that either they miscarry or, whatever might be happening. Well, what's interesting is it's not just the women, it's the men with their sperm count. And that is directly related to what they're eating. So a lot of people say, oh, it's the women, it's the women. No. This is also, it's the men, it's the men.
Population as a whole.
Well, and like Dr. Clapper says, it's the meat, and it is, it's the meat. It's what you're putting into your body. So again, I'm just so excited to be a part of this bundle, because there's so much valuable information. And, here's the thing. You get the bundle, and if you don't feel that you got your money's worth, we'll refund your money. Seriously. If you do not believe that this was worth every single penny that you invested, we'll gladly give you, like they say in recovery, we'll gladly give you your misery back. They really do say that in 12-step programs, when you go in and you're giving up drinking and you're like, and usually a sponsor will say, hey, go out and, just go to meetings for a while. And if you don't find that this is like the miracle for you, we'll gladly give you your misery back. So you don't have to live miserable. You just don't have to.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right.
Whatever your family history of illnesses is, you don't have to live that either. Yeah. My mother, like yours, Kathleen, my mother had bilateral breast mastectomy. So both of them. She had some other kind of ovary issue, which I was too young for her to explain it to me. She had multiple surgeries, so much like what you talked about. Every year for 13 years, 14 years, every year she was in the hospital having some other surgery, some part cut, and it never got any better. Right. It never got any better.
Right.
I can say that I am very much like her in a lot of ways, but I believe because of my diet choices and my lifestyle choices, I had one surgery. Well, two. I had a hernia operation when I was 8 or something like that. And I had a C-section with my last pregnancy. Those are the only surgeries I've ever had. I'm not on any medications. I'm not debilitated. I'm not, there are things we can do that you don't ever have to have.
When I was 21, I was one of the first cases that they identified as endometriosis. It was a brand new, they hadn't really labeled it, and they were just starting to discover that this was becoming more prevalent in young women. And I was 25 or 21 for the first surgery and 25 for the second. And my mother-in-law, I was married to a Hispanic man, and she said, do you think it's all the cheese that you're eating? And I'm like, no. What does cheese have to do with that? Well, it turns out that cheese causes inflammation. Endometriosis is to do with, I'm not a medical professional, so correct me if I'm wrong, Meryl, but I do understand that the cysts and everything are a direct result of how much inflammation we have going on and all that good stuff.
Well, that and the amount of hormones that is in the milk that's been taken from a cow that was supposed to be nursing a calf, that the calf got taken away. I mean, there's just so much, so much.
But and so that was my first surgery. I was let's see, I was 21 for that, 25 for the second one. They were going to do exploratory, and fortunately, my ex-husband said, "No, you're not." They were going to open me up from neck down to groin, you know, and say, "Let's see what's inside there." And he's going, "Oh no, you're not doing that. That is not happening." And so that was one good thing that he did. I have to say, I give him a big bravo for that. But then my last surgery, this is interesting. I broke my wrist about 3 years ago. It was a freak accident. I got hit on the back of the head with a big overhang that they have at outdoor events. Face planted on the cement, immediately broke my wrist, had to have surgery. But what was interesting is they said, "You're like one of the healthiest patients that we have." I was plant-based at that time, and I healed fast. I did all the physical therapy. They said, "Is there anything that we need to know about you?" And I said, "Absolutely. Put in my chart that I am plant-based. I don't do any animal or dairy." And a couple of them would kind of chuckle. I said, No. It goes in my chart. Just like I'm in recovery. That goes in my chart. I want people to know. And the doctors have to know. And then I said, "Anne, would you add in there? She's an amazing woman." And they're like giggling. I said, "Oh, no. You put that in too, because that is true." So it's really about affirming who we are, what we want to be. And when we eat plant-based, we can affirm every day how healthy we are and that we're having an influence on other people.
That's right.
So there you go. And with that.
Right.
With that. So again, I encourage people, go ahead, get the bundle. And Meryl, always a pleasure.
Yes, likewise. So good to talk to you again today.
Thank you. You too. And you have a great evening. And I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. Thank you all, everybody. And we encourage you, go out and live a healthy life.
That's right.
And an example of what's possible. Have a great day.
That's right. Good night.